Hello, I'm Tom Gensel, PSBA's Executive Director. 10 years ago, the Pennsylvania General Assembly enacted Act 16 of 2000, the Education Empowerment Law. That piece of legislation contained two major provisions, one dealing with school district accountability and the other with mandate waivers. But it was a little bit unusual. That piece of legislation was enacted for a fixed period of time, for just 10 years. And so Act 16 is about to expire as of the end of June 2010. There are efforts now underway in both the House and Senate to enact successor laws on both accountability and mandate waivers. On accountability, Senate Bill 1192 would actually expand greatly the requirements for state intervention and control of school districts that fail to meet certain achievement measures. In this case, it would apply to any school district or career and technical school that fails to meet certain performance established goals for even a single subgroup in a single subject for 1 year. And other accountability provisions apply for failure to meet those goals for more than 1 year. This includes a requirement for the school board in that career and technical school or the school district to undergo a mandatory 30-hour training program, again, for failure to meet academic goals in one subject area in a single year for one subgroup. Pretty strong provision. And for those districts and career and technical schools that fail to meet goals for more than 1 year, there would be a requirement to appoint a performance improvement team. This team would be subject to approval by the State Department of Education. The team would lay out the issues that the district or the school is facing and a plan going forward, and that could include the creation of additional charter schools in that school district. Now, we have a lot of concerns with this piece of legislation. Mostly, it deals with the training piece and the performance improvement. On training, obviously PSBA thinks it's important for school board members to be well informed. And in fact, we do more training for school boards than anybody else in the state. So we don't question the importance of it. But training requirements that are offered as a punishment usually aren't very effective. And in this case, we have to recognize that the school board is one of the players in terms of turning school districts around. We think it's far more important for the state to provide technical assistance and support to help those districts achieve, rather than imposing a punishment, which is effectively what they're doing here. And as far as those performance improvement teams are concerned, we have a lot of serious questions about the potential of where that might lead in terms of taking away the ability for school boards to make decisions in the best interest of their communities. After all, it's the school board that's the elected official and accountable to the public. This piece of legislation could cost school districts a lot of money, but there is no state appropriation included to fund any of it. And as far as the creation of charter schools is concerned, we think that's a local option that boards should be able to make a decision about. It should not be forced on them. And as PSBA has reported from our own research, there is no evidence that charter schools are performing at any better level than regular public schools. So we have a very serious concern about any legislation that might force school districts to create additional charter schools. There's one other big issue here, and that is that the federal No Child Left Behind legislation is likely to be reenacted in some form. It's being debated currently in Congress. We think it makes much more sense to wait to see how that legislation turns out before any state law on this subject would be enacted. I also want to just speak for one moment about the mandate waiver issue. As I said, Act 16 of 2000 contained a provision that allows school districts to petition for a waiver from various state requirements. That idea was one that PSBA first proposed, and we were successful in having it enacted in Act 16. It has saved school districts and taxpayers across this state literally millions of dollars over the last 10 years. We think it's very important that the waiver provision be reenacted. And so I'm happy to report that a former school board member now serving in the State General Assembly, Representative Ron Miller from York County, has introduced legislation, House Bill 2499, that would continue the waiver provision. So I'm really asking your help on two things. One, to support your state association's efforts to enact House Bill 2499 to continue the mandate waiver provision that has helped many school districts around this state, and to oppose enactment of Senate Bill 1192, the school district accountability proposal that I've described. This is going to be a very active spring and summer. We need you to be engaged, and certainly we welcome your questions at any time. And I encourage you to visit our website for more information about these proposals and other issues of interest. Thank you.